Hi everyone, here we are at the car park for Bynack More. We're heading up today and I've got Cody with me, Cody, and River with me. Bobby's not here today because she's already done it and I think the snow levels are too much for her. So, as you can see, quite a bit of snow, but we've got our snowshoes and we're looking forward to getting to the top. So, let's crack on. It's quite still today, there's really no wind down here. It's supposed to be 30 to 40 mile an hour winds and gusts up to 50, but they're coming up from the south to the north, where we're actually walking up the hill from the north to the south, so hopefully the hill should shield us from most of the wind. We're certainly shielded down here. Not many tracks ahead of me, so I'm not sure if anyone else is heading up today. Unless there's people behind, don't know, but I might be lucky enough to have the hill all to myself. That's us now at the famous Green Lake. Does look very green right now, almost frozen over. Weather down here is not too bad, not as windy as predicted. River, enjoying ourselves. We have been on the lead for a little bit because we did see some deer low level, but we haven't seen any for quite a while. So we're going to continue along the woods and then get ready to make our ascent up towards the Munro. The big clunking you can hear are my snowshoes, because you can see snow's getting deeper, so just make life easy, shove them on. Dogs don't have that problem, they've got their own little built-in crampons. The walk-in's not been too bad since we left Green Lake. It's a decent track and we're not that far from the bothy, it's just behind us. So it's always a good little shelter spot if you need to get to it. As it turns out, I wasn't the only one up on the mountain that day. I bumped into a couple of groups as I was doing my final approach to the summit and they were just coming down from it. But for the bulk of the day, it was just me and the dogs. Heading up this section was not easy. A lot of the snow had drifted onto the path and was really quite deep. Even with the snowshoes, it was still hard going. It looked like the people in front of me had headed onto the heather, so they weren't knee deep in snow. But I can't imagine that was any fun, so the snowshoes were definitely a must for this hill. Everyone, not sure you can hear me because it's quite windy. Just stopped behind a rock to get shelter and have some lunch. We're about 3 kilometres from the top. It is getting quite windy and the hill's not as blocking as much of the wind as I was hoping it would. But snowshoes are doing really well. I'm not sure we'd fit getting up this if I didn't have my snowshoes on. So hopefully we'll get to the top and we'll see you there.
It's not hard to see that the higher we got, the deeper the snow was. If you are planning on going out in the hills in conditions like this, it's always good to make sure you've got the right kit for it, as even a Munro like Bynack More is incredibly dangerous in these conditions.
We're just below the summit. It's getting quite steep, as you can probably see from here. Snowshoes are doing really well. So the dogs. Hey dogs. I know you won't get to this top. So we broke out the ice axe and we'll see you on the top.
The last push towards the summit was not for the faint heart, as I no longer had shelter from the wind, especially with gusts up to 50 mph an hour. It also didn't help that I had very little visibility as I was pushing forward. As difficult as it was, I wasn't too far from the summit, and Cody and River were doing far better than I was. Turning back was never too far from my thoughts, as it should be when you're climbing Munros in these conditions. There should be no stigma given if you do get to the point where you have to turn back, as the hills will always be there. Without an ice axe and crampons, Bynack More would have been impossible to summit, but the biggest threat that day was certainly the wind. I was only being hit with the full brunt of it for such a short time, and that was the only reason I made the attempt. I don't fancy trying to climb an entire hill being hit by gusts of 50 mph an hour. That is not fun. It's also incredibly dangerous. I can't tell you how pleased I was that I finally got to the top, as I was actually getting very close to pulling the pin and heading back down. As you can see, we only had about 3 to 4 meters of visibility, which is really not good when you're trying to find the summit of a Munro. And after confirming we were at the summit, got our photos, did our little bit of videoing, and then started heading back down.
As you saw, we summited, we're now just heading back down, finally out of the flag. As you can see, weather's a little bit better down here than it was on the top. It's absolutely atrocious on the top, really difficult to get to. I had to swap out the snowshoes for the spiky shoes so we could get to the summit. Dogs did great, both summited. sure how much they enjoyed being on the summit, probably as much as I did. I'm glad to be off it, and I really enjoyed the actual sliding down bit. It was nice to actually practice some ice axle resting on the way down as well, so it's always good to get those extra skills. So I'm just going to head back. Once I get a bit further, I'll put my snowshoes back on and then head back to the car. Depending on my time, I might pop into the bothy that's down the bottom, just to have a wee look, but I'll see how I get on. I've got a hotel to get to and I'd like to enjoy the room rather than getting there at 9 o'clock at night. So, if I want to get to that bothy, I better start moving now.
So me and the dogs didn't reach the bothy. It was getting too late, so we decided to just give that a miss, and it still took quite a long time to get back anyway, so I'm quite glad I kind of missed that. I do intend to do that Munro again this summer to get the full experience and hopefully get a view next time. At that point we'll stop and get the bothy. So myself and the dogs just enjoying a nice wee stay in the hotel in Aviemore. I'd like to thank you for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe. It all helps out the channel, and we'll see you on our next adventure.